Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV here, and I make hundreds of videos every year. At this point I have nearly 8,000 RV videos out there from all these different brands, and every now and then I don't know that an RV manufacturer or brand has kind of received the due that I feel maybe it's worth, where sometimes there are manufacturers who they've gotten better over the years, or they slipped and maybe they came back, or for some reason maybe just kind of got overlooked for one reason or another. So I wanted to do a little bit of a different top 5 today. I wanted to take a quick reference and to draw some quick attention to what I feel are the top 5 most underrated brands or options out there in the RV industry. And this is just purely subjective. You might go, yeah, there's a reason that these things are underrated. Like, you might be like, hey, these things absolutely suck. I don't know. They're brands that for whatever reason or another I like, but don't always seem to be the mainstream brand, as it were. What I want to do is give you, I'm going to go through and kind of explain each of these things and why I feel that way. And then I'm going to give you about a quick 2-minute look at one example of something from that brand. And if it looks interesting to you, maybe check out our website, check out the other videos that I've done for that brand, and see if perhaps they have a floor plan or something that might work for you. Because obviously each of these brands makes more than just the floor plan I'm going to show you today. But as a courtesy, if you do like what you see, I'll drop you links in the video description to see a full-length video, at least on the ones that I'm going to showcase for you today. So, to kick us off, I actually want to begin with Surveyor. Surveyor is a brand that, I've been covering on the channel for a couple years now, and it seems to be one of these brands, I hear the same thing all the time. Like, it rarely seems to be the brand that somebody gets into their car and drives to our store and wants to see that specific one. But the people that take them home seem to be, generally speaking, very happy with them. Some of our happiest customers end up with a Surveyor, and they end up liking it so much they just use it till it dies, and they don't ever seem to want to trade the thing in because it's just taking care of them so well. And the way that I look at Surveyor today is a little bit of what I call a punching above their weight class kind of camper, where if you look at all the features that a Surveyor actually has, it from the outside, it looks plain because they didn't spend money to make it just look shiny. They actually invested all the money in it in things like ASDEL and the equipment package, like the upgraded solar package and tank heaters and a central vacuum system that like nobody else in that class is doing. But I think because they've been around for so long, people just kind of have overlooked them. So here is one of my favorite Surveyors for you. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, and this thing behind me right here, I think some people are going to consider almost a nearly ideal couples camping travel trailer. This is from the Forest River Surveyor Legend Group, and this model comes in just under 30 feet with weights and measures and specs and everything that will generally work for a lot of late model tow package half tons, but it gives us a theater seat facing the entertainment center the way that you want it, dedicated dining space, but you could actually swap the dinette for a hide-a-bed or even a second theater seat if you wanted. And the way that they accomplish the kitchen on this one, they're one of the very few who have ever attempted a layout like this that actually have decent countertop prep space and a really good pantry because it's buried behind the entertainment center, which is what I call a pantry-tainment center. They are carpetless and ventless flooring. They're 6'9" tall, so if you're a little bit bigger like me, you can actually stand in the shower, not to mention the whole rig looks and feels a little bit nicer while you're inside. The bathroom is very nicely sized with a rectangular shower and some huge bonus storage in there. Whether it's for bathroom linens or a bonus backup closet space, the bathroom has a lot of action going on. Very private bedroom with a true queen bed and some fantastically executed headboard power pockets. You can option this 50 amp. It is capable of accepting a second air conditioner if you do that. So if you live in the hot climates, this one can still service you. Speaking of heat, the underbelly's enclosed and forced air heated and has tank heaters standard on these. Goodyear tires with TPMS. 400 watts of factory standard solar now, and some inverter prep action going on if you are so inclined. Little mini camp kitchen, and a partridge in a pear tree. This is an absolutely phenomenal floor plan. This is one of those that, like, if it hits my nerd preferred list. If it was just me and my wife and the two of us going out, this is one that I would definitely have on my personal consideration sheet. But like any RV, it's got ups and downs and in-betweens, and I want to share the good with the bad, let you decide if it's the right one for you or not, and if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button, and let's go. Next up here is a brand that I've been calling videos on this channel for close to a decade now, and there was a period at my hometown superstore here in Coldwater, Michigan, where these things were just absolutely screaming out the door every single day, full steam ahead, and that's Freedom Express. They were absolutely on top of the game, and they were shaping the lighter weight trailer market. Like they were the ones that you were using Asdel before it was cool, and like they never got credit for that. You know, like all kinds of cool things that you find in the laminated trailer market actually have an origin from the Coachmen Freedom Express, and I just don't think people necessarily realize that. They see these things get homogenized into other RV brands, which is fine. Coachmen has definitely copied some other builders too, without question, you know. But they went through this like 2 or 3 year, frankly, period where they just kind of crapped out, and they just stopped moving forward, and they stopped evolving, and they just sort of sat there, and everybody passed them. But all of a sudden for the 2025 season, I feel like Freedom Express is back, baby. And I kind of want to let people, you know, don't call it a comeback. They've been here for years. So real talk, years ago, I literally helped design this layout. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd, breaking away from my hometown Michigan Coldwater Superstore, getting down here at Middlebury, getting you some updated footage on what's new and what's alive for 25 with Freedom Express. And I gotta say, they went through a couple years that they just looked a little bit plain, and this is the best looking generation of Freedom Express I've seen in my career. Now that's a personal opinion, but I think this thing is looking so sharp, and it's actually kind of, the look is living up to the features that are included with this, because Freedom Express is a brand, I don't know that everybody realizes all the good things they're doing. So they were one of the very first brands, period, to use like dual Asdel walls on the inside and the outside. They're a little bit, they were one of the very first brands that tried to build an RV full size but lighter weight by using things like more aluminum framing, more lamination, you know, more materials like Asdel. And this layout, what it does is it gives us a bang up awesome kitchen, actually an inside and outside kitchen, which is cool, with still really good direct viewing entertainment, awesome storage, fantastic bathroom with extra headroom, a true queen bedroom with plenty of storage and easy lift storage below the bed, and a partridge in a pear tree. Now you start pairing that up with wide stance stability axles for easier towing, tire pressure monitoring for peace of mind, heated and closed underbelly for extended season use, a big awning space on this sucker to really maximize your summertime usage. And I think this is a really killer kind of couples camper right here. Unintended alliteration aside, I will tell you, the kitchen access in road mode is a little bit problematic. It's definitely a model that is very good for being there, but still pretty portable. It is still something that you can you can get around, you can move around. You know, it's not made to be the biggest, baddest boondocking kind of camper or anything like that. There's some accommodations to help you extend that time, but there's things it does well and there's things it doesn't do. And even though I'm a little sweet on this one because I had a hand in the original conceptualization, I almost could say that word. I had a hand in this thing layout originally. It still has some downsides. So I'm going to tell you what's good, what's not, and what's in between. And I want to hear from you as we go. What do you like and what do you dislike? And if you appreciate how we're fair and candid with you, hit that subscribe button and let's go. Now, my next entry here, I think might surprise you initially, but hear me out. I think people need to give a nod to Rockwood and Flagstaff. Not that, like, if you watch my videos or if you look at the success and sales records out there, Rockwood and Flagstaff absolutely needs no specific pat on the back, generally speaking, in the travel trailer market. But I think their fifth wheels are painfully underrated. Pound for pound, dollar for dollar, if you look at what they're building, how clean it comes through the factory processes, how little warranty work there is to do on these things, the features, the fit, the finish, they are stellar. But for whatever reason, when you leave the travel trailer market and you enter the fifth wheel market, it's like somehow they just get forgotten, whether it's maybe they don't look as flashy and fancy as something else out there because they have a little bit more of a warm, homey, classic design, or what it is, I don't know. But this is a brand that, like, if you were my aunt and uncle and you're like, hey Josh, we want a fifth wheel, we don't want to have to go totally dead nuts broke on this thing, but we also want one that basically is put together right, this is the first thing I'm going to suggest for a family member of mine to start looking at. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, down here at the Big Forest River Expo where we get to see all the new things, and today's media day. Guess what day it decided to rain like monsoon season? You get 3 guesses and the first 2 don't count. So we're going to be spending the vast majority of our time inside today, but I'm not mad at it because we're in a Rockwood Signature Series fifth wheel here, or what Flagstaff calls classic, same thing. And this is, I feel, almost secretly pound for pound, dollar for dollar, in my nerdy opinion, one of the best brands of fifth wheels that you've never paid attention to out there. For whatever reason, I think because historically Rockwood didn't have a giant fifth wheel culture, the work that they are doing here is extremely underappreciated. Now, they hit all the big notes that a lot of brands do. Like, they have a great extended season weather package. They have holding tank heaters and enclosed underbelly. They're using the radiant barriers for, efficiency. They've got stackable washer dryer prep. A lot of those things you expect on the fifth wheel are here. But I wanted to target this floor plan because every manufacturer builds this floor plan, so using this floor plan helps you more easily determine the differences between those brands. So what's Rockwood bringing to the table? Well, they've got things like all composite walls. They have all aluminum skeleton work around this, so the roof, the floor, the walls, everything is a welded aluminum cage, even the structure under the bed, which is crazy. But they're using a 5/8 ton groove plywood floor decking. They actually enhanced their suspension package this year above and beyond the torsion that they were using before, which is already better than what most people were using, to give you even better ride and handling still. They have, this model is awesome because it dedicates all the windows off the campsite of the RV, but Rockwood does stuff like give us the bigger XL vent fans in the bathroom, factory standard. We've got things like an 1800 watt inverter, factory standard, things like water filters. Rockwood was doing way before it was cool. Tire pressure monitoring, same thing. Rockwood has led the way and done a lot of things that other fifth wheel brands have jumped on board with, but so much of it began here. And that's part of the reason I feel so strongly about them. But there's things that this also, I can tell you, there's going to be things about this you're like, oh, I don't like that. Why did they do that? It's got good and it's got bad. And I'm going to share both of them with you. And if you appreciate how we do that, even out here when it's raining, hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Another brand out there that I don't think people are quite realizing what they're doing today because of what they had done in the past is Vibe. Vibe is a brand that has become insanely unique and modern and innovative and different and wild and weird and wacky, and maybe you don't like what they're doing today, but we're on basically like generation 3 of Vibe right now. When Vibe was first released about a decade ago, give or take, they were advertising themselves as a super duper lightweight kind of camper. But if you really looked at them, they were really long and very heavy and just kind of weird but not like weird in a good way, in a sense, you know. And then it sounds kind of funny. Their whole factory burned down, and it was the best thing that ever happened to them because it gave them a chance to kind of start over and like a phoenix rise from the ashes and be completely reborn. And the most of the vibes that you've seen on this channel to date have been that Generation 2 vibe, but for the 2025 season, they stopped, collaborated, listened, they reset themselves, reinvented themselves, and basically reset their entire floor plan catalog again and decided, instead of just trying to make the same floor plans that everybody else makes but put a Vibe sticker on it, what if we just did stuff that nobody else is doing? And that, I think, is very cool and deserves a little bit of respect and recognition. This is a really good example of why you should ignore the letters in the model number, because this is an RB, but it's not a rear bath. In fact, I don't know that I've ever seen anything quite like it. You need to check this out. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, down here at the Vibe factory today. They were kind enough to pull up a bunch of things for us, so maybe leave them a quick little note if you like the footage. Says, hey, thanks Vibe, or whatever. But This new 26, frankly, the whole Vibe series has completely reinvented themselves from what they were doing in years past. And this new 2600 RV, when you see the model number, you're thinking, okay, so it's that rear bath super slide 30-foot camper that everybody makes. No, it is not that. This RV is a rear bar. It's a bar top diner with awesome overlook windows. You've got a huge kitchen overlook window looking at the campsite of your RV straight under the awning, which, first of all, awesome. Right there, you already kind of won me over. Secondly, I'm a sucker for bar top dining, and that big bar top in the back, again, with a giant picture window overlook, this time off the back side of the camper. Some people like looking at backsides. This one, you look out the backside, but you get the idea. It gives this RV a big open feel. Now, the ceilings of these are a little bit taller. And you do have that, sofa kind of pantry kitchen combo slide, also giving you a lot of space. But this thing has good counter space, good prep space, awesome views and visibility. It doesn't have a propane oven, and it does have a short mattress. But we're going to talk about the good and the bad as we go today. By the way, if you appreciate how we give you the candid look at things, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But the bed is bigger, just not bigger in the way that I think I would have preferred it, but that doesn't mean that it isn't a good fit for you. Underbelly's enclosed and forced air heated, wide stance axles for towing, enclosed docking center, good front pass-through storage, and a bunch of other awesome qualities on this. It's not going to be for everybody, but it does some things really cool that you don't often find in the industry, and I'm really curious to know what you think about this one. So as we go, let me know, where did they nail it? Where did they fail it? What do you love? And what would you change given the opportunity? And the last entry I want to give you here is kind of technically a dual entry, but Bullet and Passport. They are not identical twins like Rockwood and Flagstaff. They are sisters where they're very similar, very, very similar. But they each have their own different teams and floor plans and stuff like that. But the Bullet and Passport were dominant monsters in the industry. When I entered this business in the laminated trailer world, it was Rockwood, Bullet, Passport. Those were your top three alpha dogs every day. And then there was a period there where Passport and Bullet slipped, and they slipped really hard, and they really fell out of the conversation. And the last couple years, I have watched them very quietly put in some serious work. They have some really good people running those divisions right now. They've been coming out with really good floor plans. Their warranty stats have been better than they've been for years, but they've been doing things like they started putting on better tires and a better torsion suspension package, and Keystone's factory solar solutions are pretty much, generally speaking, on average, about the best that there's available out there in the industry. They were one of the first to get away from wood and start doing some composites in areas that other manufacturers just were not. And they've been doing this stuff for a long time that I just don't think people have realized. Now, they've also recently come out with these crazy balcony kind of campers and just pushing that envelope a little bit further. So take a look here at a Bullet model and maybe look through their lineup and see what else they might have to offer you, because they're doing some kind of cool stuff nowadays. There's a really funny quality about this RV. The thing that excites me the most and I like best about it is actually what it doesn't have. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV, down here getting some updated footage on the Bullets. And in case you're kind of curious, the thing that I'm so excited about, it's, I don't know if it was last year, I think it was last year. They updated the suspension on these. Instead of the same leaf spring suspension that you find on almost every single RV, which doesn't do a lot to provide good shock dampening for your RV, this rides on a full torsion suspension system. So torsion axles and suspension. If that sounds maybe a little bit familiar, that's what like Rockwood and Flagstaff have been doing for years, and it's really interesting. If you look at the brands that ride on that kind of suspension, they ride and handle better. Their owners have fewer white knuckle worries on the highway. There's a lower instance of things like rollovers with those, but also, along with ignoring the catastrophic potential, they just tend to stay out of the shop better. Because if you want an RV that stays out of the service centers and stays in your driveway or in your campsite longer, you really need to look for an RV that has a better suspension package, because every single bump going down the road stresses every nut, bolt, two widgets, whiz bangs, and fasteners basically on this RV. So anything you can do to dampen that that violence, it comes back to pay you in dividends. Now, this is a very popular couples camper. It fits for a lot of potential half-ton towability. It's really interesting, and it's one of the very few couples models out there that I'm really aware of anymore with a real, fully equipped, good camp kitchen, including an actual sink in the camp kitchen space. Camp kitchens are awesome when they're well equipped. They suck when they're not, which is why a bunch of them keep phasing out, because they keep getting nickel and dimed apart. A real sink with a real drain into a holding tank, a fridge, an outside cooker, a big door above your head for like rainy day and sunshine blocking. It is awesome. But there's so much more to this RV than just the camp kitchen. This is a great model that a lot of people like. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna show you the good and the not so good with it, so that you can decide if it's the right one for you or not. And if you appreciate the candor, hit that subscribe button and let's go. And my expectation of this video is not that this is going to like massively move the needle for these brands. I'm not specifically just trying to push something that we have, but there are things out there that I think are very, very cool. And my hope is that this maybe expands the number of things that you might have considered that could pair up very well for you, that maybe you just never thought of before. Whether you're looking to get into something right now or maybe a year or two, start putting some of these brands on your radar and keeping an eye on them and seeing what happens with them, because I think that these are some brands that somehow consistently get overlooked. That like the biggest test for me is, would I want to camp in one of these? And every single brand I mentioned today, absolutely, I think would be a very fun weekend to spend some time in. And again, if you are a member of my family, I'm not really hesitant about you camping in any of these things from like a reliability standpoint. You know, I've never seen a perfect camper yet, but these aren't ones that really give me major concern or pause. So take a look at all those links in the video description. Probably left you a bunch of them down there. And if there's, what is a brand you think people sleep on or people overlook? I'd be kind of curious, because maybe there's one that I've missed and I need to get recorded for you as well. And if you appreciate how we put these videos together for you, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you next time. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.